Welcome to Startup Hack. All right, remember when DeepSeek claimed that they had built their AI models for just 5.6 million? Well, the numbers don't add up. A new report is showing that they spent somewhere between 500 million and 1.5 billion or more to get this model built. Now, after 25 years in tech, I know when to spot something fishy, and this story had more red flags than a parade. So let's dive into what's really going on here and some of these claims by DeepSeek and see if they're really a fake. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thomason. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. With over 25 years in software development and a decade as a fractional CTO, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, so DeepSeek, the AI company that really disrupted things over the last 2 weeks, definitely has caused a stir. Drop over $600 billion on NVIDIA, but they've been caught red-handed fudging their numbers. So did they build some impressive models? Absolutely. The way they did it, totally nefarious, it turns out. So turns out they spent way more money on hardware and training than they've been letting on. And guess what? The US government is moving to ban them. So is that enough? We're going to dive into some of the real story here and go through some of this, okay? So first of all, let's break into this story here, right? So there's some shocking truths going on here about the truths between DeepSeek's AI training costs. So recently, and I'm just going to grab the front part of this article. Recently, DeepSeek, an up-and-coming AI company, made a bombshell announcement. They claimed to have trained an AI model comparable to OpenAI's GPT-4 or their new O3 reasoning model for only $6 million. I think actually the number was 5.6 million, right? But that figure really shook things up. It literally made NVIDIA drop over $600 billion in valuation. I mean, it's a huge number, right? Just a crazy amount of money that got wiped off in 2 weeks on NVIDIA, right? But it turns out that they're really kind of fudging a lot of this stuff, right? So when they actually break down some of this, they're comparing some of this against OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic, and a lot of these other ones. And they're looking to say, look, that the way they made the numbers here is they're trying to say, well, that's the number that they spent. But let's break this down here. So first of all, we know that according to a leaked report here and some insider info, the true cost of their AI training model came out to $2.4 billion. Right? So where did this money come from, right? So GPU costs. DeepSeek reportedly used around 50,000 NVIDIA H100s. So originally they were saying they trained us on older hardware. Turns out that isn't, the H100 is a little bit older, but not that much older. But, it's still some top of the line, right? And each of these GPUs run for around $30,000. That's $1.5 billion just in the hardware. So I think what they were trying to say was that their electricity cost added up to this, but running that much and the total energy cost of this alone would be quite a bit. But that's where they were trying to say they did it. Now, they also didn't factor in the cost of the talent, right? So a specialized set of engineers and the projected on what their labor cost was going to be $200 million just on labor costs alone. So when they came up with a $6 million figure, they were trying to just say, well, it was about 700 watts of energy and we got it really cheap energy. And so it was about $5.6 million for training. Now, the thing about it is they then turned around and they open sourced it. So that was really one of the big things, is that them trying to open sourcing this was a really big move. And it did definitely cut the legs out of some of these closed source models like Google Gemini and OpenAI and some of these other. Now, Llama is open sourcing the final model, but they didn't open source how they made it, right? So the training data. Whereas DeepSeek actually did this. But it turns out that DeepSeek was actually stealing a lot of this training data from OpenAI. And so it turns out that they were actually using a lot of the OpenAI previously training data and pulling against OpenAI via their APIs to actually get this a lot of this data anyways. So we can actually see that, the hardware alone was well more than 500 million. And it really did definitely shake some things here in the US, right? So we know that another report here is estimating 1.5 billion, right? So no matter what it was that they that they did end up spending, it was well more than the 5.6 million that they're talking about here, right? And they have an average of over 150 employees on this as well. So, saying this 5.6 million number was way off and really was misleading. But they did exactly what they wanted to, and they shook the market, right? They definitely shook the market. Now, it looks like some of this is going to backfire because right now, and of course I can't, dive into this because Bloomberg wants to block us. But the U.S. is actually working to block DeepSeek right now, right? So one of the things they're trying to hit on right now is to try to block all of this, right? Because even though they've definitely ruffled some feathers over here, but U.S. lawmakers are now trying to work to get DeepSeek to be banned. And right now, it's absolutely going to be banned from all government devices, which I'm in agreement with. I don't want any of my information going into AI. In general, I think we're way too loose with how much information is going into AI, whether it be here in the U.S. or not. And I think that this is a huge privacy concern, as well as, we're just pumping data into these things as fast as we can. And it's so funny where I've worked around SOC 2 and HIPAA and a lot of these other compliance systems over the last couple of years and helped a lot of companies do this as a fractional CTO. And yet here we are just saying, oh, it's AI, so we can feed it all the data we want to, right? So there's major red flags already. But now with this model getting pumped overseas, that's totally different. And the thing about it is that with DeepSeek, it's really easy to run these locally, and you don't even need to send your information overseas. I've actually done some previous videos, so make sure you like and subscribe to the channel here, because I did some previous videos on how we were actually running these on a Raspberry Pi. So you can actually get DeepSeek to run on a Raspberry Pi. We're also getting DeepSeek to run on Ask Mini AI. So there's a ton of different ways to get this to work. Now, speaking of security and trust, your company needs to be reliable and have reliable tech partners. Here at Startup Hack, we believe in transparency, and we have proven results. Check out startuphack.com/Spencer because we can help your company build secure, efficient solutions for your business. Now, DeepSeek has made a lot of misleading claims, and it's really affected the market confidence. And investors right now are questioning AI company valuations. However, we're definitely still seeing Meta and OpenAI and everybody else saying we are 100% straightforward, right? They're not even looking left or right. They're still set to spend billions of dollars this year. Now, data security is a huge concern with AI, and government agencies are reassessing AI partnerships. But the private sector is also looking to follow some government leads, right? And there was a new report showing that Los Alamos wants to, let's jump over here. The Los Alamos actually wants to inject OpenAI's A1 into, so what better place to inject OpenAI's O1 than Los Alamos National Labs, right? So this is kind of just really odd to me because I can't really understand. But according to this, Microsoft-backed AI maker today announced a U.S. national lab partnership that will start with the deployment of its reasoning-capable O1 LLM models in Los Alamos. And so this is kind of a little crazy to me. I'm not totally sure I'm on the bandwagon of, hey, we've got AI, let's jump on the bandwagon and get everybody to use it. I definitely don't trust this. Now, I can help you stand up AI solutions for your corporation in a way that the data all stays within your own walls, right? And it's pretty easy to track these LLMs to see that data isn't leaving them. So you can actually download the model, use it, stand up on your servers, do programming against it. We're doing a lot of really interesting things here at Startup Hack with some AI things, but I house all the data on our own servers. I do not ship this out to OpenAI or to Google or to DeepSeek, especially not across overseas, right? So it's shocking to me that we see somebody like Los Alamos, and I get, in this case, it probably all is being hosted on, in fact, I'm sure it is, saying it's running on their Veneto supercomputer. And so they really are running this, and it's an NVIDIA-powered beast of a machine hosted inside of Los Alamos. So I'm sure part of this is that OpenAI is bringing that in, and there's definitely going to be some data privacy agreements. But I still just don't trust OpenAI. I personally don't. I think they've had a proven track record of some nefarious actions, and I just don't really understand that this industry response is, oh, it's AI. It's getting up in the 70% success range. Let's give them all of our data. And suddenly we've blown the doors off of any kind of privacy concerns. And I just don't really understand this market dynamics and how quickly we shifted just because it's got the word AI on it. And so, it's really killing me that one, I can't believe how much money is being spent on AI development costs. I can't believe that the one thing that I do like that DeepSeek, even though they did spend a lot, it gave a lot of people the opportunity to stop, look at it and say, we need to come up with some innovative way to do this instead of just throwing more money at it. Now, I'm not a huge fan of government oversight into tech, because the government doesn't do things well. We're seeing Elon tear this apart right now. We're seeing a lot of different things. And so I really believe in transparency. And unfortunately, these private companies are not being transparent in what they're doing. So I do love that DeepSeek open sourced it. I like the work that Meta's done with open sourcing their models. We do use the Gemma models, which is actually the open source version of Gemini. So there's a lot of things you can do with it. And so that's part of the reason I'm not a big fan of OpenAI, is because I don't like that their models are all closed source and they don't release them. So we can definitely see that there's real higher costs. I am really a big fan of trying to do more with less. So I love these smaller models that you can do. And I'm going to be making some more videos. I actually just got some more hardware that I'm going to be hooking up to the Raspberry Pi. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be showing you, and I always go through step by step on how I do this. But I'm going to be building some AI onto a Raspberry Pi. I'm going to show you actually how you can hook up a Raspberry Pi to an external graphics card and just a consumer grade graphics card. So we're talking less than $200-300 of equipment that you could actually run an internal AI model on some corporate hardware. So I love doing this kind of stuff, and I love pushing the boundaries, and I love to see developers working to use these open source models. So I'm not against AI, but I think we've got to be responsible and intelligent. I think that we continue to talk about feeding billions of dollars with an obscene amount of electricity and resources going toward developing AI with absolutely no thought around what the ROI is going to be. So I think there's definitely some transparency that needs to be happening here. And I think we need to have some honest discussions around what is the future of AI. Now, I keep hearing people talk about AI is going to replace developers. AI is going to replace developers. First of all, if AI was going to replace developers, they've been telling that story since Fortran in the 60s. AI is not going to replace developers any more than a calculator replaced mathematicians, and any more than Elon Musk's FSD replaced drivers. And I love my Tesla and FSD, but it has yet to replace me. So here I'm definitely talking that we still have a long ways to go. Is AI a tool? Absolutely. Is it cool? Yeah, I use it absolutely every day for a lot of different purposes. Is it going to replace any developers? Hasn't yet. And as a business owner, trust me, I'd be the first one in line if that was going to happen. Now, what are your thoughts? Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. So reach out if your company needs some custom software, because we'd love to help. You can check us out at startuphack.com/Spencer. Otherwise, I've got another great offer here for you.
Want to become a software developer but don't want to spend 4 years in college and rack up massive student loan debts? Think you need technical expertise to get started? Welcome to Startup Hack, a better way to start your software career without student loans and years without income. One-on-one tutoring is included, so you never get stuck and have guidance through the whole process. No technical experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace and in your own space. Startup Hack has worked with local state agencies in your area to make it so that qualifying students can get the program costs covered entirely, and students can start earning while they learn.
Startup Hack's .NET Coding Bootcamp was a game changer for my career. As someone with no prior programming experience, I was initially intimidated by the idea of learning to code, but the instructors at Startup Hack broke down complex concepts into easy to understand lessons and provided hands-on projects that really cemented my understanding. The curriculum was comprehensive and up to date and got me ready for my first job. What really set Startup Hack apart was the focus on practical, real-world skills. Thanks to Startup Hack, I landed my dream job as a .NET developer within weeks of graduating. I went from knowing nothing about code to building professional-grade web applications in just a few intense months. If you're looking to break into .NET development or level up your coding skills, I cannot recommend Startup Hack enough.
Complete our 3-month coding bootcamp, gain hands-on experience, and land a paid internship. With 2 years of experience on average, our graduates are making over $80,000 per year. The 3-month program includes technologies from Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. No debt, just a quick path to earning. Check out startuphack.com to code your future and start today.